set up the project board, which we will be using. So we want to look at what is this all about. We'll look at what a project board is, the purpose of a project board, why do we need a project board, what is Azure DevOps, and then we would go into setting up the board itself. Okay, so all right, so project boards are just centralized resources that provides visual and transparency for the team's workflow and increases the effectiveness in managing the work. Okay, so you have teams now who are remotely based. Somebody is in US, another person is in India, another person is in Africa, another person is in the UK and all that, and we're all working as a team. How do we see what we're doing? We can talk on the phone, we can jump on Teams and talk and all that, but how do we see where is the transparency in what we're doing? And that is what project boards are meant for. They are collaborative tools where the teams are able to come together, see how things are, plan things properly in what they're doing. Okay, so those are what project boards are for. Now, you might also have a situation where co-located teams are able to use project board. So just because they are remote, is not only limited to teams that are remote only, also teams that are on site, co-located together under one roof can also have work on a project board. They can have the digital one, they can have the old-fashioned one, you know, where you look at the whiteboard on the wall, sit down in the conference room and be able to collaborate on that wall. There are even ones that are now digital that you can use even in an office where I've forgotten, you know, all these newscasters that do that gives what do they give now? Weather forecast. Yeah, like the kind of screen they use where everything is already on the projector being projected onto either the wall or a screen, and then you have your, I think I've forgotten what they call that thing that they use. Maybe it's a remote control that they use to move things around and all that. Everything is going away from the traditional thing aspect of things now. So it's not just cloud-based projects boards that you have now. There are even the ones, like I said, that are on site. You go to the office and all that, and you're still able to collaborate using those features also. Okay, so one of such is provided by Azure DevOps. Okay, so Azure DevOps is an application, a cloud computing application that is owned by Microsoft, and is a website that can be accessed through a web browser, which provides a set of integrated features that can be used in planning. It can be used in developing and maintaining a software development lifecycle. And we know we did say that project management has gone way past just software development lifecycle. You can also use it for services if the project is based on that, not just on software development alone. Okay, so like I said, it's cloud computing platform. It's provided by Microsoft and you can access it anyway. It provides an opportunity for every member, you know, to work, every member work to be put together, and it gives transparency on what we're doing. We're able to look at what everybody's doing, come together, wherever you might be and all that, and be able to talk and see visual, you know, visualization goes a long way. Someone saying something and you seeing what the person says goes a long way to you having an understanding, and that shared understanding for the team goes a long way for them also to plan and collaborate very well in what they're doing, and that is what the project board affords you. Okay, so Azure DevOps features are not just limited to, oh, I'm putting my work here, I'm doing this. You can see that it has to do with planning. We can plan our work, we can develop what we're doing on it. Testing can be done through it also. Not that you do your testing on it, but you know the work items you're working on, the bugs that you raise as a tester and everything, we can see it on the board. You can assign it to the right person to work on it and everything. So the work management really of whatever the team is working on regarding that project is visible and can be tracked on the project board. And that is what Microsoft provides Azure DevOps to be able to do with other things also. So they also can also be collaboration between the developers and the operation teams working together, collaborating on the Azure DevOps also, but also. Okay, so and then we just want to quickly see the area we're going to cover this night, God helping us. So we're going to create a project board. Okay, so I'm going to invite members onto the project board. We're going to create what we call an inherited process. I'll explain when we get there. We're going to change the team's process to the created inherited process. We're going to set the dashboard. We're going to update default settings, team configuration and all that. They are all updating the default settings. We're able to update the work items we're going to use. And for each set, when we get there, I'll tell you. And this was what I said by different process, different steps. So for each bullet point, once I do it, I stop and ask if there's any question before we go for that. So we will try as much as possible to make sure we do all this. And I'll try as much as possible also not to rush through, so that because a lot of things are going to be new to you, so that I don't rush you through things and then lose you somehow in the process. Okay, so we'll try and get that sorted also. Okay, now before we go onto the board, I know that at least about a lot of people have been added to the Azure DevOps, and you would have received this email already from Microsoft. This is just to tell you not to panic. Okay, so yours won't be join your organization dev.azure.com/Blue Sky Citadel. It will be /Blue Sky Citadel team. Okay, so but something similar to this, you would have received it in your email. And then what you do once you receive this is just to click on the join now, and it's user-friendly instruction that follows. You just go with that. And at the end of that, so this is just to tell people, once you see the, don't get confused, don't bombard admin with, oh, I've seen this, I don't know what to do. Just click on the join now and then follow the process through. It's quite straightforward for you to do that. And like I said, this is the URL of where you would be going to. This is the URL for, by the time you join, this is the URL. And then another information that you will get at the end that will let you know, okay, I'm at the right place is this. So a lot of people get this, and sorry, this is quite blur. I couldn't get it better than this, but what the feedback here is saying is, oops, something went wrong. You do not have access to permission to create a new board, reach out and everything. Once you see this, don't worry. What this is telling you is that you are at the door, they're not opening the door for you. And what will let you know that you're at the right place is when you look at the top here, you will see Blue Sky Citadel thing. Okay, that tells you, oh, I'm at the right place. Now, why you're seeing this message is because you've not been put on any project board yet, because that will be done by your Scrum Masters. And that's why we're having this session, so that we teach them how to create the board, how to add members and everything onto it. So if you're seeing this when you've joined, or you've clicked on the join now button and you've gotten to this stage, don't worry, you've done the right thing and you're the right part. Again, don't panic, and then don't bombard admin with questions of, oh, why am I seeing this and everything. It's the right thing for you to do. Why you're seeing this, like I said, is because you're not on the project board yet. You're not being added to any project board yet. Okay, so cool. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, quickly, any question before I go on this? I'm going to stop sharing for some few minutes, just so to go on the Azure DevOps itself. Any question, please let me know quickly, and then we will start off. Okay, so that's quite clear enough. Right.
Hi, there are hands up, Moji.
Hi. All right, let's not make it too much because we've not really gone into the main thing. Okay, so Emmanuel, you first. Okay.
Thank you so much. My question is just when you started, you said it's the Scrum Master that is going to set it up on his own. What about, I know some companies you have the admin section that handles the any collaborator like Jira and the rest of it. So
Yeah,
what
you're
happened
right.
in that instance?
You're right. You're quite right, Emmanuel. Some companies set it up themselves. They have a department that does that, and that's why, because they don't want people to mess up things. But we take you from scratch, yeah, to teach you how to set up a board. This gives you an understanding of, excuse me, your project board, what you can do on it and everything. So even if you go into an organization where they are the ones that are setting things up, you're not the ones and everything, you want to familiarize yourself with the board as a Scrum Master. You've gone to an interview, you've told them, I've been doing this for a couple of years. I know how to do this, I know how to do that and everything. And then you get to the place of work and everything, and then you're asking them, sorry, please, how do I do this? How do I do that? It doesn't all go well. You know, you have to be professional all through. And that is why we take you from scratch and we teach you everything. Even if they've set it up as a Scrum Master, there's still bits and pieces you'll be doing with your team on that project board. And you need to know what to do. You need to know where to go to. You need to know what you need to do. They want you to set up the sprint, you know how to do it. They want you to do this and that, you know how to do it. So this is taking everybody from scratch. So we're believing that every one of us, we're 42 participants, every one of us on this meeting tonight do not know anything about Azure DevOps, how to set it up. Even if you're working already where they're using it and all that, we're taking it that everyone here does not know anything about it. And that's why we're taking this from scratch with everyone. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Temitope.
Thank you for the lecture so far. I'm not it's not my comment is not a question really, because and I don't mean to set back the team. The thing is, I have not received an email regarding the Azure the invite.
Okay. All right. I know there is a platform where if you've not received things, you put information on. It could be two things. It could be number one, we're doing it in batches. Okay. So if you've not received it yet, you can make it known on your main internship platform to say, I've not received mine. Please, before you do that, apart from checking your email, can you please also check your spam? Yeah. Check the junks, make sure it has not gone anywhere before you come and make that. Okay. All right. So once you've checked and you've not received it, please just put a message out, not to admin or anyone. We will see the name of the person that is putting the message there. I've not received an invite from Microsoft for Azure, or just I've not received an invite for Azure and all that. And that will be dealt with. And please, you need to be patient and give the people that are picking this feedback up from you, give them time, okay, to process things also. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Miracle.
Yeah. Is it the Microsoft Teams? But that was the invite. So
sorry, I didn't get your question.
The invite I saw is for Microsoft. It's Microsoft Teams. Is it that one?
That says your organization is inviting you to. Is that's the message I shared now?
Yeah, from Blue Sky added it to a team.
Oh, okay. So there is a difference between MS Teams, Microsoft Teams, and Microsoft Azure DevOps. So, okay. Quickly, I'm just going to share my.
I've not seen that one.
Okay. Bear with me. That was why I showed that, so that at least once people see what I'm showing, they're able to familiarize themselves to say, okay, so this is what I'm looking at for. So the information you're getting is you've been invited to a project in Azure DevOps. Yeah, that is what is inside the email that you're going to get. It's
okay,
from,
okay.
yeah.
I've not seen that yet.
Okay, so, all right, thank you. And then, Simon? Hello, you're muted if you're talking, so.
Hi, so I just wanted to know, are we meant to install the, how do you say it, Azure
No, you're not installing
ourselves?
anything.
Okay.
By that email that you get, it will take you to where you're supposed to go to, because your email has been added to the organization already, and that's why you're receiving that email. So with that, you'll be able to access it.
So it will just be off the internet, basically.
Yes, just click on the join and follow all the instruction it gives and all that.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so quickly, I'm going to share my screen again, and then we will go on the board. Bear with me. Okay, so I need to move this. All right, so this is the organization. Okay, so I'm going to be, I'll try and use physical organization as much as possible to explain. So you are intern on Blue Sky Citadel. Okay, so as far as Blue Sky Citadel is concerned, you are working, let's put it that way. That helps us to understand. You're working for Blue Sky Citadel as interns. So when you normally work in any organization, when you get there, you don't, once they've given you your offer letter, you've received your offer letter by email, and everything. Once you get to the physical building and you go in, you don't just go in, get on the first floor, enter the office and go and sit somewhere. Yeah, somebody has to put you through what you need to do and everything, even though you have an employment in that organization. So as interns on Blue Sky Citadel, you've been added to the Azure DevOps organization. So this is Blue Sky Citadel team organization. So you've been added already to this organization. Now, the email that was sent to you and you joining and everything is you having access to the organization. So you get there, the receptionist asks who you are, they give you your pass and everything and all that. Even with the pass in your hand, you still don't know where you're going to. So you still need to be led and all that. And that is what the Scrum Masters are going to do. Once they set up the project board, they're going to add you as team members onto that project board. And that's where you are able to see the project board and then know what to do in the course of your internship and all that. You will be told what you can do on the board. Your mentors will put you through trainings and everything to let you know how you can make good use of the project. Okay, so to create a project board, that's the first thing we're going to do. So the first thing we're going to do is to create a project board. So I'm going to do that now. So once you have access, once you're able to access the board, okay, this is where you come to. This is like the, should I call it the reception now? Kind of. This is the landing page for this organization, this online organization. This is kind of the landing page, yeah? And to create the project, you come to the right. Just follow my cursor, yeah? And if you can't see it, tell me so that I can shake it and everybody can see it properly. You come to the right-hand side at the top here. You can see where you have this highlighted new projects. You can see all the projects that are already on that organization, yeah? But we want to create a new project for the 2024 April internship set. Okay, so we click on new project. Once you click on that, it gives you this pop-up window, and then it's asking you what is the project's name. Okay, so for us, we're going to say we're 2024. We use A. We're going to use A to represent April, if that's okay. And then we'll have intern. I'm gonna call this training. Okay, so that would be our board for tonight. And then in the description column, you describe what your team is. What do you do? What is your team meant to do? What team of what are you? Okay, so for this one, I'll just say putting the thing on some you can leave it plain also. You can leave it blank, sorry, for the time being, at least until you get to know, okay, so this is what our team is all about and everything, and then you can go back and can put this in. But we're just going to put that in there, and then you come to the next field, which is the visibility one. Now you have two visibilities. You have the public visibility, and then you have the private visibility. Okay, so and what this tells us for the public visibility, as you can see, it's written there that anyone on the internet can view the project. Certain features are not supported on this one. Now, what they mean by anyone can view the project is anyone that has the URL to your project board. If we choose to activate it as a public project board, anyone that has the URL can put the URL on their browser and they will have access to every information that is on the board. It's visible to everyone. It doesn't require any login, no login is required, and it has a unique URL. No, and this is normally used by open source project development. That's the ones that use this normally. But we're going to go for private because definitely Blue Sky Citadel is a private organization. Yeah, so we're going for the private one. And for the private one, you can see what is written there again. Only people you give access to will be able to view this project. So again, the visibility is limited to the users. Anybody with the URL cannot just access the project, but they would need to log in to be able to access it. And that's why we've collected your email address and we've added you to the organization. So it's not open to the public, it's not something general. So even if somebody has the URL, once they are not part of this organization, they are not able to access information on this board. Okay, and we know it's used for non-public software development projects. That's what we use it for. So by default, normally it comes with activating the private one. So we're just going to keep it at that. We're not going to go to the public one. Okay, and then we come to the field down here that says advanced. We want to click on that. So I'm just going to scroll down so that we can see what that is. So for that, what it's saying is the version control. So the version control also by default has Git, and definitely we'll be working with that. So we're just going to leave it at that. The same foundation version control, I think, is the old form of control, version control, and I think more like it's server based. So so we're not going to click on that. That was what was used on Azure DevOps before Git, and now they've added Git. However, some organizations are still using this old version, so I think that's why they've just left that there. But we're going to leave it at the Git that it came with. Now we're going to the work item process. So basically, on Azure DevOps, there are 4 main process. And the process is just the work process, okay? We have the agile process, you have the basic process, you have the CMMI process, and you have the Scrum process. So because you're a Scrum team, we want to pick the Scrum process. Each process has its own unique features. So we want to pick the Scrum process because that's the one that we'll be working with. So we're going to click on the Scrum process for our work item, and then we create. We'll click on the create button at the bottom. And that is our project board. Okay, so that is how you create the project board. So before we go to the next step, do we have any question? Any questions so
Yes,
far?
I have a question.
Okay,
is this
speaking.
process same as the business analyst?
The business analyst won't do this. You will be part of the people that will be added to your project board because you need to work on the project board. But like I said, this is done by the Scrum Master. But this is the board that both the Scrum Masters, business analysts, the QAs, the developers are going to work on. The DAs also, if your project is data migration inclined, or you deal with anything that has to do with data and all that, and they need you on the project, you will be added onto the project board also because they want to see visibility, transparency of what you're doing. Also, you will be added to it also. Cybersecurity team also, they would have their own project board also. And if you work as a cybersecurity professional on any project, they need your input, they need your expertise in whatever they're doing, you will be part of that board also. So depending on the number of people, you will be part of that. So that's the next step we want to do, to add the members onto this project board. And BAs, definitely you'll be added to it because you're part of the team.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Can we go to the next step? I hope nobody's...
No, my hand is up.
Okay,
please.
I think I need a PA for tonight that will be telling me, because I'm sharing my screen, so I can't see.
All right.
I need a PA that would...
Yeah, Davis, you can go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So, if you have the time, can you tell us about the GIT, the GIT? What does it mean? Like, what does it do?
Okay. So Git is a tool that the QAs will be working with. So I wouldn't want to go into explaining that. Just know that it's one of the tools that you use. And once you go into your role training, you'll be taught about, you'll be trained on what it is, what you can use it for, and all that. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Simone, Simone, over to you. Simone, you can go ahead. Okay. Adewine.
Okay. Before I take the next question, can we limit every session question to 4? After 4, we go ahead, or else we won't finish what we need to do tonight. If that's okay with everyone. All right. The last question there.
Yeah, fine.
Yes, Adewine, please go ahead.
Okay. I don't know.
We can't hear you, Adewine. You sound a bit far away.
Okay. Please, can you hear me?
Please, are you hearing me now? Yes. Please, my question is it the Scrum Master that will create the page, or we can as well create the page? Because
what's your role?
QA.
Okay. So board setup, Azure Board Setup is compulsorily the Scrum Master's job.
Okay.
Okay. While we've allowed all the roles, normally this session is just for Scrum Masters and ADMs, but while we've allowed everybody to be part of it, is so that you familiarize yourself with that project board that you're using. So even though we're doing the setup and everything, there are some places, some things we'll talk about tonight, and then you'll be able to say, oh, okay, so this is how this is. Oh, okay. And by the time you start working on the board, it's like taking you through a tour guide right now. You familiarize yourself, you know some things, you can see some things, some pages and some things on the board now. Even though you're not the one setting it up, you can just see what is going on. And that helps you to get used to the board quicker. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So we want to invite the members now. Like I said, our board is set up now. We want to invite the members. As you can see, if I just scroll down, you can see I'm the only member here because I was the one that set it up. I'm the only member here. You can see that's where you will see the members. And also some of the features that are on the project board, you can see them here. We have the boards, we have repos, we have pipelines, test plan, and artifacts. So those are the features, the services that your project board affords you. Apart from seeing them here, you can also see them on the left panel over here. Okay, so we might not get to all of them, but in the course of your training, they will be used. Okay, so We just want to add the members now. And then again, we go to the right-hand side. At the top here, again, you can see invite. And then you can see the icons of people, little people there and all that. And that's where you go to invite members to your project board. So if I click on that, and I'm just going to invite some people that I know are on the board already. So I want to invite Allow Me to be part of this team. Once you're on the organization, by the time, once you join the organization, by the time your Scrum Master starts typing, name will come up. You can see that. And then I'll just add that to it. I'm going to add somebody else also. Let me add Uzo. She's on the organization. You can see her name coming up. Let me add Tommy. You can see her name coming up. I'll add Rita. You can see their names coming up. So once, if you have more than one, make sure you know the surname of the person or you have the right email before you click on any name, or else you will be adding the wrong people to your project board. Okay, so the Rita I want to add is that Rita. All right, let me go ahead and add my also. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of Deji there. I'm even wondering which one should I pick now. All right, let me pick the first one. I've added him. Yeah, let me add Lady Pat also to my team. And let me add Abimbola. So this is just to show you, and you can see there's a lot of Abimbola, so you have to know the surname, know the right email place before you click on it. Yeah, and let's just leave it at this. And then once we have all this and all that, you can see is adding them to this team. Okay, because that is the project board we have open. So I'm adding them to this team, and then I'm going to click on add at the bottom here. And once that is done, I should be able to see all the people. You can see it gives you a pop-up to tell you the success. You've added 7 people to your team, and then you can see all of them there. So initially, before I added, it was just myself. And then when I added about 7 people more, now we're 8. Okay, you can see that there. All right. That is how you add your member. Now, that is one of the ways that you add your member. And later on, I'll show us another way. Okay, so let me quickly do that so that I don't forget and I don't come back. Another way you can add your members. So once your board is up and running, another way you can add your members is if you go to your project settings at the bottom here. Okay. And then you go to your teams here. So the only team on this project is, of course, us. Okay, and then you can still see the members showing there. Okay, so if I click on this one, this title for the team, you can see the members, everyone that I've added now, you can see their details here. You can see everybody's details there. So if you want to add, apart from that invite in the first project phase we see, another one you can do is this. So if I click on add here now, it will give you the same pop-up that we used in the first place. Okay, and just so you know that we can also use this to add people on, I'm just going to add let me add Tosin. Okay, so I'm going to add Tosin to that team also. You can see that I'm able to add Tosin also, and instead of add, what you have here is saved. So if I save that, it's going to give me the same message. We successfully added a member to the team. And if I scroll down, you'll find Tosin now on the team. Okay, so that's another way. Initially, once you create your board and you see the invite, you can use the invite. But after creating your board and you started doing some things, new members are joined into your team. The other way you can do it is to go through your project settings, click on teams. If it will give you your team, click on your team name. It opens this page up for you, and then you're able to click on the add your team members, save, and then they join your team. Okay, so that's how you can add members. Any question before we go to the next step? I think that one is quite easy. There shouldn't be questions on that. I think that's quite easy. Okay. All right. So we want to now look at the inherited process. So before we do that, I just want to quickly explain what that means, okay? In an organization, you have different projects boards, and you have different teams using the same process. Remember when we were creating the board, we looked at the work item process, and then we picked Scrum. So let's assume you'll have about 4 teams just starting and everything, and they all want to use the Scrum process. But we also want to customize our board to suit our project. So everybody is doing different things in their own projects. Excuse me. Concerning our own project, we want to customize our work item in such a way that, you know, there's a particular thing we should be able to do on our own that won't affect other people's projects. Remember, we are all under Scrum, the Scrum process. But we want to do some things to our own work items. Maybe we want our user story to be yellow and all that. And if we customize it to do that, it will affect other people's process. So what we want to do is to create an inherited process from Scrum, so that whatever we do and whatever we customize on our own project board stays on our own project board, is not affecting other people who are using the Scrum process also. So that is why we create inherited process for that purpose. And for us to do that, we would click on this organization here. Okay, so Blue Sky Citadel team is the organization. You click on that, it takes you to the landing page where we are initially, and then you come down that left side to the bottom here. You can see this setting, organization setting. You want to click on that. Okay, once you click on that, it brings you here. Now, when you're here, 2 ways, actually, sorry, I'm not going to take you through this one. I'm going to go back to your project because you're new on here. Let's go to our project again. This is our project. Let's use our own project settings to get to where we're going to. All right, this is our project, and then we click on our project settings. So this is our project setting. This is the overview. You can see the overview is the one highlighted here. It's giving us an overview of our project. That's the project name, the project setting, and that's the process we picked. Remember, we picked Scrum as the process. So we want to click on this process that we've picked, the Scrum process. So if you click on that process, okay, so it brings us here. It says all process, but it's picking out Scrum out of all the process. So for us to go to where we need to create an inherited process, we just want to, you can see at the top here, it's giving an information. It said system processes cannot be customized. To add customization, create an inherited process. That's what I just explained. Is already warning that you can't customize this process because it's the main process. Common process is the main process on this organization. So you can't customize it. If you want to do any customization, it's telling you to create an inherited process, which we want to do. You can click on this to create it. You can also click on project here to create it, okay? So if we click on project to create it, it's going to show us all the projects that are under this process. So, and you can see that ours is there also. You can see this is our own there. Yeah, so we're able to see the process, our process here. Okay, so if we click on this link here also, this one is giving you a shortcut, but I don't want us to use the shortcut to do it. Okay, I don't want us to use the shortcut to do it. So what we're going to do is to go to all process. So this one is showing us Scrum, but we don't want to see Scrum. We want to go to where all the processes are, and these are all the processes. Now I'm going to go back again, just so we can see how we moved on that. Okay, go back to the overview. Yeah, so this is the project overview. Yeah, to change your process, click on the process you're on. And then it brings you here to say you're on the Scrum process. Now, you're on the Scrum process. If you want to confirm, you don't need to, but if you want to confirm that is our project really on here, If you click on project here, you can see your project. That project is on the Scrum process. Now click on all processes, and then it gives you all the processes. You can see basic, agile, Scrum, CMMI is down. Now all these ones are projects that have been created through the inherited process. So for you to create the inherited process, you're already on Scrum. Remember, we've confirmed that we're one of the 5 projects that are on the Scrum process. Now we want to create an inherited process. Just put your cursor over the Scrum that you can see. You can see that it's highlighted in there's a gray form. So if I move it away, it's blue. But if you over it is gray, or it can be blue also. Now there is this ellipses coming here. These 3 dots are called ellipses, and they are the ones that you want to click on in order for you to create your inherited process. And you can see the little window opening saying create inherited process. So we're going to click on that because we want to create an inherited process. And the same pop-up that we saw that time, you can see it coming up. But I just didn't want us to use that link to do it. I want us to go through the right process in order to do it. So we need a name for our process. Our project is 2024, isn't it? So we can say, oh, sorry, 2024. So we can say 2024A training, sorry, no space, Scrum. Okay, so we just put 2024A training Scrum. That's the name we're giving our inherited process. You can put your description here also to customize work items, to customize projects to suit the team. So let's do that. Customize. Okay, you can just put that there, and then you create your process. If I click on this, okay, so you can see that's 2024A training Scrum. That is our process, but you can also see that there is no project on it yet. So we need to bring our project here. So we go back to the Scrum process where our project is, and then we go to the projects that are there. At the top here, you can see projects because we want to see the projects that are there. Now, these are all the projects that are there, and this is our own. And we want to remove it, like I said, from this process, from the main Scrum process, and put it on the inherited process, which we have created. So you need to create your inherited process first before you move your project away from the Scrum process. And then again, the ellipses, these 3, that's our target. If you click on that, you can see change process. It's going to give you a little pop-up saying change process, and that is what you want to do. So if you click on that, it comes to select a target process. Because we've created our process already, if you click on this drop down, you'll be able to pick your process from here, and your process is 2024A training Scrum. So I'm going to click on that, and then I'm going to save it. Okay, it says complete, so I'll close that. As you can see, this is still the main Scrum, but you can see that our project is no longer here anymore. It's no longer under the Scrum process. So let's go back to all process and check our process. Our process is 2024A training Scrum. You can see that one project is added to it. It was 0 before. One project has been added to it, and that's our project. So if I click on that now, the only project you'll find under it will be ours. That's it. That's our project that we've moved from the Scrum process onto the inherited process. And that's how you create your inherited process. So one thing is to create it. Another one is to move your project to it. So automatically your project is not going to jump onto it after you've created the inherited process. So you create it, but you still need to go and change the process from the main Scrum process onto your inherited process. And that is what we have just done. Any questions on that before we go further? And you would later on, through some of the things that we'll customize, you would realize, or you will see why we needed to do that. Okay. All right. So if there are no questions, let's just go to the next thing, which is
Oh,
dashboard.
sorry, I have a question. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
So doing that, it won't affect what everyone else can see. That's just for you.
Yeah, now that we've created an inherited process, anything we do on our project board now is not going to affect any other project that you see on the main Scrum process, because we've taken ours away from it.
I have a question, please. A quick
Quickly.
one.
So,
I also have a question.
Yes.
Can I just have a follow-up question to that?
Let's keep it to one after one, or else other people won't be able to take other. Remember, it's down to 4. Just write your follow-up question. Write it somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. So, my question, when you were creating this project page, you did pick the organization Blue Sky. You did not pick for the general web services also. Now, my question is, if I'm creating something like this and I use the general web stuff to create it, can I still be able to customize it in this manner such that whatever I'm doing there, I'm the only one that will see it? Or maybe if I have my own team that I'm able to create, so the general web services will not see it. I don't know if you get my question right.
I don't know what you meant by general. Okay, so what you're saying is the organization won't be affected. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, what I'm saying is, if I want to create something like this for myself, right? And I'm not using Blue Sky Citadel. You know, when you are creating the project board, should I call it, from beginning, you say there are 2 ways: either you choose an organization or you make it open to everyone using the web services also. Then you chose
the open source and the private one.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I use the open source to create something like this, and then later decide to customize it in such a way that I'm the only one seeing what I'm doing there, is it possible?
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so what you're saying is you started by making that project board open the public one, where anyone with the URL is able to see everything on the board.
Yes.
And then later on you didn't want that anymore. You wanted to change it to a private one.
No, not to change it to a private one, but to do what you just did.
Okay, so inherited process.
Yeah, to change it to inherited. Yeah.
Inherited, you're picking 2 different things. Inherited process is what you do within your project board.
Yeah, I think he means when you move it to the inherited process, will it just be for himself, or will his whole, like his group, let's say if
anybody
he was a
on your
QA,
board will see what you're doing on the board, because it's, remember, you've added team members. So everybody added onto this project board that you've added as a team member will see everything, will have access to see everything on this board. It's not limited to just you alone, except if the project, when you created the project board, you were the only one on it.
Yes, I get that point, that every team member I added will be able to see what is going on there. So what I'm trying to find out is, after creating it, after choosing the public option, not private now, after choosing the public option, right?
Yeah.
Can I in turn now make it an inherited project?
Process, use the inherited process with the
Yes.
public. Okay, so I've never used the public option before, but with the public option, what the public option gives you is, what you're saying with the public option is everybody on the website can use it. It's used for open source projects, kind of. So there are some websites or some projects where people are able to go learn how to develop things, use their features and everything. That's what you use open source for. I think one of it is Vue 2, who are upgrading now to View 3. Sorry. So there are some group of developers, let me put it that way, that come together, create things and make it public because they want everybody, do you understand, to freely, if I can put it that way, enjoy it, even though they track things and they monitor things so that they're sure that people are not doing what they're not supposed to do on it. But people are able to, the public is able to contribute to that. So people, if they have kind of I don't know, a blog or so, people are able to come to say, oh, this that you did this way, I think maybe if we do it this way, it will be better. You know, everyone has a say to that kind of a website. Now that is not done with, that's what that public feature is for. So it doesn't, you can't, if it's public, there's no need to make it inherited.
All right,
So to say,
that's
I don't know
just
if
what
you
I
get
want
what
to
I'm
hear.
trying to say.
Yeah,
It's public, it's open to everybody. So there's really no need to now create an inherited thing out of it for you alone to see, because it's open to everybody.
All right, let's move forward. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, so
Remy
Okay.
has his hand up. Yes.
okay, let
Okay.
that be the last one because we've
Yes.
used enough time on the other one.
My question
Okay,
is
the last one.
Okay, my question is this: at what point or instance do you use create inherited process? Like, what is the trigger for inherited process?
To customize your board. Like I said, your board has to suit your team. If we're working on, you have different, okay, so like this internship now, you have different teams. You're going to be put in different teams and you're going to do different things. You're going to have different project mandates that you're going to work on. If our team decides that because of the things we want to do and everything, we want our box to be colored red, we want our task to be colored purple, you know, just to differentiate things and all that. Remember that that is what your own project team wants to do, not everybody in the internship. So we can't go customizing things on the Scrum process that will affect other people's board. Do you understand? That's why you customize, you bring out an inherited. It's like having a branch out of a main thing. So that whatsoever we do stays on that branch. It doesn't affect
specifically for your own team.
For your own team, specifically for your own team.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, quickly. So we're going to the next thing we need to do, and that's our dashboard. We want to set our dashboard. So I'm just going to go back to click on our project. I should take me there. Bear with me. Okay, so it brings us back to this front. Once you click on your project, it brings you your project type, the name of your project. Most times brings you back here. Okay, and then this left panel is where we'll be doing a lot of using it to get to other pages or that we need to go to. Okay, so you can see the dashboard there, right? And when you click on the dashboard, it brings you here. You can see that the dashboard has not been created or anything. So what we want to do is we want to set some things in place before we go here. So again, we go to our project settings. Most of the things you do when you're setting up your board, updating things, you do through your project settings. So we'll come to the bottom here, click on this. It brings you back here. You always have project setting at the top of where it brings you back to. You can see the name of our projects there to show you that you're on the right board. Okay, and then if you come down here, you can see dashboard. We want to update our dashboard from there. So if I click on that, it's going to bring me here, and you can see that all the toggle are on. Okay, so we want to be able to create a dashboard on our project board. Yes, so that is on. We want to be able to edit dashboard on our project board. Yes. We don't want to delete. We don't want somebody to, by mistake, delete a dashboard. Because once it's deleted, it's deleted. So we want to switch that off. We want to deactivate that. So we'll leave the other two activated, but we'll deactivate this. Yeah, because like I said, anybody can go there. Oh, I'm looking for something, and then by mistake they just click on something. Everything that you have set up, everything that you have set up on your board, everything just goes off. We don't want that, and that's why we've come here to deactivate that so that that doesn't happen. Okay, so we just quickly want to do that. That is a straightforward one, so I'm not going to ask question about that before we go to the next thing that we need to do. So the next thing we want to do, also some default settings that we just need to update before we start using our board, is we want to go to our theme configuration. So if I click on that over here, click on the theme configuration. So it brings us to this page, the general one. So over here, you can see the highlighted one in blue is the general. So this page we're on is the general one. Yeah. And we just want to look at the backlog navigation level. So right now, the ones that are activated is the feature and then the backlog items, sometimes called your user story. Okay, but the epic is not activated, and we need to activate that because we want our BAs to be able to write stories starting from the epic and then be able to create features under the epic and then also backlog. Now, why Azure left the epic, why they didn't activate it is you have some teams that just work from features and user stories. They don't go to epic, but if definitely your own project you will have to work with the epic and all that. And as a Scrum Master, definitely you will know the type of process you're working with, and that helps you to be able to update all the default settings that are on your project. Okay, so we need to activate that. Also, you're working Monday to Friday, that has been activated already, so we leave that. We're not going to do anything to that. And then I'm just going to scroll down to with bugs. So there are 3 levels that you're going to work with bugs. The first, that means you manage your bugs with the requirements, and your requirements are always on inside your user stories. So you leave that on. We're going to leave that on. Some teams manage their bugs with tasks. Okay, so we're not going to manage our own bugs with tasks. We're going to manage it with our user stories, and so we're going to leave it at that. And then some do not manage their bugs, are not managed on their backlogs or their boards at all. If that is what they're going to do, maybe they have another project board where they concentrate on bugs only and all that, then they can pick this option. But we will be managing our bugs with the requirements, with the story. So a QA picks up a story after running the test, they found the defects and everything. Against that user story, they are able to create a bug. That is what we're saying by leaving it with this option. So that is all set. You can see we've set that. The next one we want to go to is the iteration. So it's either iterations or sprints. Okay. So due to some things that has been set up, okay, initially somebody said something about in some organizations, there are some setups that are done already. So even with Blue Sky Citadel organization, there are some setups that has been done already. So as you can see here, we're not the ones that created all these sprints 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, sprint 4. That has been preset already up to sprint 6. Yeah. So, but on this organization, the moment you create your project board, those ones will be there already. Okay. But one thing we've come here to do is to change the default for iteration. Okay. So what this is saying is by default, it's saying at current iteration. And what that means is that when the BAs create, let's assume you're in sprint 1, you've started sprint 1, and your BAs work ahead of the sprint. So they started writing the stories for sprint 2 in readiness, while the developer and the testers are doing what they are working on the stories that we've put in sprint 1. Yeah. If the BAs go into the backlog and create a story, that story automatically goes to sprint 1 because over here, the default iteration setup says at current iteration. So in whatsoever sprint you're in, that story that they are creating that is meant to be in the backlog automatically just goes on the board. And that's why you see a situation where you've taken 5 stories in to work on. The BAs are creating story, and then you just notice that your stories are going up to 10, and you're wondering where are these other 5 coming from. That's because the default setup here has not been changed. Okay, so we're going to change that so that any stories they create sits in the backlog, doesn't go onto the sprint. And how we do that is to click on this change that we see in front of it. So if I click on that, it's going to give you all this drop down. We're not going to the sprint. We want to put it in the backlog, and the backlog is the one that shows our teams. Okay, so if I click on that, is the default iteration that we're changing, and you can see now that they are the same thing. Okay, so once they're the same thing, even though we've changed it, you're not just going to leave it at this and move away. You've not saved it. So the set here is it's the same thing as saying you're saving it. So you're picking that to say that's what we want it to be, and you can see now. So any story they write now stays in the backlog. It doesn't go on to the sprint, whatever sprints that we're on. Then that's what we're doing there. Okay, so with the areas, I doubt if we need to change anything. That's fine. That is our area path. That's just showing that that's the area path by default. Everything is fine. You can just look at it to confirm, not because you want to change anything here. Okay, and then you don't need to deal with templates now. It has nothing to do with what you need to do. So mainly over here, when you come here, the things you're doing is activating your epic, and then you go into iteration in order to change the default iteration to your backlog and save it. Okay, that's what we need to do over here. Any question before we go into the next thing that we need to do? Quickly, any question from anyone? Okay, cool. All right, so the next thing that we
Sorry, I've got a question.
Okay, quickly.
Yeah, okay,
please.
quickly. Can you throw more light on that working with bugs? I don't really understand that part.
Okay, so the people that create bugs, all right, let me go there so that where are you now? Okay, the people that create bugs normally are the QAs. Yeah, so you're a QA, you're meant to test, to validate that what the user said and what has been put in the user story, the requirements and the acceptance criteria that has been put there are the things that developers have developed. That's why we need you to, use your eagle eyes to run the test and everything. And you run the test and you find the default. And once you find the default, you're meant to create a bug. A bug is like saying a defect. Yeah. You're meant to create a bug to say, oh, I found the default, and then write out the steps of the default. We're supposed to do this here, you're supposed to do this here, it got here, and then it didn't happen. I click on this, it was supposed to show me this, it didn't show me that. You take a screenshot, you put it, you will be taught all that. So I don't want to go into that. But what we're saying right now is by choosing the first option, by activating that first option, what we're saying is, as a QA, once the developer finished working with the story, they've developed everything they need to do, the story comes to you. And what you're doing is looking at the acceptance criteria, like I said, and running a test. When you're running your test, you find that default and all that. Against that story, let's assume that story's ID number is 101. Against 101, you'll be able to add the bug, create that bug, so that bug you created is linked to that story. And what you're saying is, I can't pass this user story because there is a fault on a defect in what has been done, and that bug is created against that story. That is what we've just customized by doing that, or leaving it at that it comes with the default, like, and we're just leaving it at that. Some team creates their own bugs against the task. Again, that's another thing you will see when you start working. You will have to create tasks, which you saw us doing when we're doing the work task and everything. So some create their bugs against the task, but in our own, that is a team that works mainly on task and not on both user story and task. So because if you create a bug against your task, remember that task is specifically assigned to you. That is what you work on. So you can't pass your task to the developer to go and work on. What you pass back to the developer to say, oh, I found a bug, is the user story. And that's why we're linking the bugs to the user story rather than to the bugs. That's what, just in a nutshell, this is saying. Hope that's clear a bit.
Yeah,
but by the time
you.
you start, by the time you start working, you will have an understanding of what we're saying. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, quickly. So the next thing we want to do also now is just to update the work items. Some of our work items are user story, which is also called PBI, which is product backlog item. So I'll try not to use abbreviation in order not to kind of get things a bit thin for us. So we want to put some fields into our work items, and we'll be putting in the product backlog item in the box, and also I don't think we're going to put anything in the task and all that, but at least those two, the product backlog item and also the bug, we're going to be doing that. And to do that, again, we need to go to our process to do that. Okay, so again, we're already on the project settings, so we go to let me just go back up here. Let's go to overview. Okay, with overview, you can easily get to your process. Click on the process. And it brings us here. Now, these are all the work item type that you have. Okay, so like I said, the tool that will be adding things to updating is the product backlog item and the bug. But let's start with the product backlog item. So if I click on the product backlog item, you can see layout. We want to update the layout. Okay, so these are the fields that you will find in a product backlog item normally. These are the fields that you will find in there. Now, I'm going to do something. I'm going to leave quickly, just leave our project, quickly going to another project, because I want you to have an understanding of what is being done here. But please, when you have the chance, don't do the same thing. This is just to provide you with clarity of what we're doing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the organization. And then I'm going to click on, let me use the 2024 January internship board quickly to show us what a story looks like. I'm going to go on the board. Don't worry, all this we will do with yours also. So I'm just quickly want to show you what the layout of a story looks like. So I want to open up, okay, let me pick a user story. Okay, so this is the layout of your story. All these description, acceptance criteria, discussion, those are the fields that have been put there. And what we just want to do, those are the fields, okay, that have been put there. So this is just because we've not created any of these on your board. That's why I'm just quickly going into this one to show you. Now, what we want to do is to put in some fields. We want to put in some new layouts in the ones that we have, okay, in our own. All right, so I'm just going to go back again to our project quickly. Our project board, sorry. Okay, that's 2024 internship training. And we're going back to the overview again so that we can access our summary. Okay, sorry, I've left the project settings. Okay, so project settings is where you link up with the process. Like I said, the one we want to go to is the work item, the product backlog item. If you click on that, you can see the layout is the one that has been highlighted, and this is where we want to put some layout in. You can see that the one we saw right now was more fuller than this one. Yeah, because they had to add some layouts to their own, and that's what we want to do to our own also. So maybe in our layout, we want a situation whereby we want to put in, I want to put in the BA that is working on this. We want to put a field in so that the BA will be able to put their details in. We want to put a field in for the keyways. We want to put a field in for the developers, and know that be able to do that using this layout page. So whatever we customize here, again, this is part of why we had that inherited process. So that whatever we do now is just limited to our own project board. It doesn't go on other people's project board. Yeah. So if you click on new feed here, it brings up this pop-up. Okay. And then it says create a field. So there are some existing fields that we want to use that are there already, that are not they're not new. We don't want to create a new field. There are some existing ones which we can use. So instead of create a field which will be a new field, we want to click on existing, use an existing field. So what we're saying is whatsoever field that are there before, that is what we want to use. And what we want to do is we want to pick a BA field. Okay, so you can see BA there, so that we will know the BA that is working on this particular story. In the workforce out there, you have just one BA working in your team. But because of the internship, you have more than one BA on your project, and you just want to know, okay, so who is the BA that worked on this particular story, and we want to create that field into the layout of the story. So if you click on that, and then you just click on add the field, and you can see that here is added. That field is added there. Okay, let's click on that again. Let's add for the developer using existing field again. You can pick dev, you can type it also just to save time. Once you type dev, you can have either dev, you can have developer. If you want to type it fully, it will bring it up for you if it's there. Yeah, you can see that it's there and it's bringing it up. We want to add so that you can also put the identity of the developer. And then let's just put the last one. Let's put QA. We can put DA also. Again, we want to use the existing one. So if I type Q, it will bring, you can see, because it's there already. Add that field to it. Sorry. Okay, so for the DAs are also seen as developers. So I won't put DAs there, but if you want to, you can put, which I'm sure you will find in the existing, if you want to put your DAs there. But most times also DAs are seen as developers also, because they are also creating something. So you can leave it at that, or you can add it if you want to, so that you keep your developers with the developer one. Let's create one for the DAs also, so that it doesn't look as if I'm partial. Okay, so and you can see all these fields are the things that we've added onto it. There's acceptance criteria there already, so we don't need to pick that. There's some related works, everything that is there, or you don't need to click on them again, because then you will be duplicating whatever is there. So these are the things we just want to add into that. And once that is done, we're done with the layout. So we want to look at the state also. What are the things we can put when it comes to the state? So in the state, we want a situation where when this work item, this product backlog item moves in all the columns, we want it to be showing the state of that column, to say, okay, if it's in new, it's showing new as the state. When it moves to approve, it's showing approve as a state. When we after doing this and we create what we're creating, you will see what I mean by that. But we just need to do this before we start creating all those user stories. Okay, that's why we're coming here first. So what new state we want to put in now? Well, you can see, okay, let me close this. You can see that we have new, approved, committed, done, or removed. That's what we have now. But we want to create more states, like I said. So if you click on new, create new states, we want to put in BA here right now. Okay. So what in BA means is, in the column when the BAs are working, this user story will be showing that it's in BA. Okay? That's what we're doing now. When the stories are in BA, is not in progress. You can see that in progress is in committed. So when BAs are working, there is still a proposed, it should be in the proposed category. So the category we're picking here should be proposed. Okay, because they are proposing that work item. As a team, we've not had a sprint planning to agree that we're going to do it. No refinement has even been done. So while they are working on it, while they are writing it, putting all the requirements and everything that they've gathered from the stakeholder, we want to create that state for them. So you can see it's grayed out. Okay, so that is the color for nothing has started yet on it. Blue is when work is in progress, and then completed is green. But again, the team can decide, hey, this is how we want to do it. Okay, and then we create. Yeah, and then another one we can do, remember that is in BA, we can do BA1. Again, it's still proposed because the team is not working on it yet. So I'll just be a bit fast in the space. So after in BA done, we want an approved one also, because we want the PO to approve what the PA sign off on the stories that they've written. So that is still proposed. Okay, quickly we create sorry. Okay. All right, sorry, I'll come back to that one. Okay, so another one we want to create is, so we've had in BA done, approved, committed is what comes after approved. And after approved, you have the developer working on it. So after committed, the next person working on it is the developer. So we're going to have column that says in, let's just put it as in dev. That is when the work has started. Okay, so it's in progress. So we create that. Okay, create another for dev done. The developer's finished working, create that. Those ones comes under in progress. So work is in progress now. Okay, and then we create another one for in QA. That's when the QA puts off to work once the developer has finished. And then you want to have QA done. Oh, sorry. QA done. Okay, so after QA done, we also want to have UAT. So we're just going to do UAT. UAT is still also part of in progress. UAT means user acceptance test, that is done by either the PO, or the PO can delegate the QA to, the BA, business analyst, to run the UAT. There are some organizations where the UAT are run by the end users themselves. They carry out the UAT, but in our own case, we want either the PO or the BA to be the one carrying out the UAT. Okay, and then you have the done. That's just the done and all that. Okay, so we're going to leave all those like that, and then we would go back to our process. Remember, this is our process. We've just worked on the backlog item. Now we want to work on another work item, so we go back to the process in order for us to pick that. Let's quickly pick the task. There are two things that we want to add into this layout for the task, and one of it is, again, we used an existing one because it's there already. So we want to look at hours planned and the actual hours that the person used in carrying out their task. Okay, so we want to pick, you can see it's there already. Hours planned, we want that field to be there so that the developers or the testers are able to say, oh, this is the hour that I planned that I was going to do the work, and this is the hour that I actually carry out that work. And what that helps you to do is to have that experience and use that experience with other works that are similar, that you might be, other tasks that are similar that you might be carrying out. So if you have your hours planned as 2 hours and then you ended up doing 3 hours on that, if you have to do a similar task, you would know to say, oh, well, the last time I did something close to this, I think it took me 4 hours, and then you're able to go back to that task and check and find that information there. So these mainly are just to help you keep track and help you also to have history in place. Okay, so that's why we do this. So we've got hours plan, and then we can have actual worked hours. Okay, we can put that in also. And then you can see the fields here, and they are single text single line. So you just click on the line and then you put the information there. But once we create one just to see what these layouts that we're setting up here are, we're able to see it in those work items where we go on it. So we're not changing the state of the task. The task, once you're in sprint, is either to do, in progress, and done. So we're not changing, we're not adding anything to it. That is what is going to display once it's on the sprint board. So we're going to leave that and go back. So another one we want to kind of customize to suit our team is the bug. So for the bug, we're not changing anything in the layout. The layout is fine the way it is. It's just the state that we want to look at. And in looking at the state, we're not doing anything to the proposed aspect. So the state we want to add things to is the progress state. And what we want to put there is active. Is it active? Once the bug is active, we want the color to be red. Okay, we want the color to be red. Let me pick I think I like a dull red. Okay, so we want the color to be red. Remember, it's still in the in progress category, because that's, remember, we've started work. That's when you create your bug. So we want the color of the active a bug that is in the active state to be red. We create that. Okay, and again, I said it is in progress. And then we also want to create another one where we call the name result. Okay, so once it's active, we want it to be like that. And once it's resolved, we don't want the color to be blue. We want the color to be green, but we want a light green, because remember, when it gets to completed, also it's another green. So let's pick a lighter shade of green to say, oh, it's been resolved. That is a bit closer. Or we can go for a darker green that is not like that green. We can choose this green. It's all about customization. Okay, but it's still under in progress. Yeah, so we create that and it stays there. You will see what happens when we go on the board to do the customization, and that's why we're doing this ahead of time. Okay, so those are the ones that we're just going to do on the work items. Those are the work items that we want to customize out of all the other work items that are there. Now, if you need to customize any of your work items, maybe you're a QA and you tell your Scrum Master, oh, our test cases, we want them to be, this is where your Scrum Master comes in. So you don't go there yourself. You won't have the permission anyway to go there yourself to be able to do it. The only person that comes here to do anything is your Scrum Master. Okay, so you need to liaise with your Scrum Master if you need to do any customization, or the team wants any customization. You have to go through your Scrum Master. It has to be a team's decision, and you have to go through your Scrum Master, because they are your project board administrator. So you go through them in order to do this, and that's why we're saying it that compulsorily they are the ones that set this up. Right, any question before we go to the main one, which will be to configure our project board to include more columns? Any question so far on this one mainly? No question? I hope people are not sleeping off on me.
Faith has a hand up. Faith, you want to go ahead?
We are still active. We are still active here.
Okay, good.
Sorry, just a quick one. Apart from the Scrum Master, who else can give permission? Is it just
permission
the
to
Scrum Master?
I don't understand. Apart from the Scrum Master, who else can give permission?
Who else can give consent? You just the last explanation you gave.
Yeah, the Scrum Master is not giving consent. Yeah,
Okay,
the team comes together to say, okay, hold on. The team comes together to say, we need to customize this. It has to be a team's decision. So one QA cannot come and meet the Scrum Master at the back and say, oh, can you go and do this? Yeah, it has to be the team agreeing that, oh, we've looked at these as QAs, we want to do so that we're able to do this. And if the team agrees that, yeah, we want to do that and all that, the Scrum Master will go and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You always have to collaborate as a team.
Yep.
Okay. Quickly, I'll give one more question to this and then we'll go to the next one. None? Okay, cool. All right, let's go on. So once we've done all this that we're doing, we need to go back on our projects. And how we do that is if you click on project here or here, it takes you back. But I think this one will be faster because we're the only project on this process. So we want to leave this setting and go on our projects now. So we click on this one. And then it brings us back here. Okay. So anytime you want to leave the project setting, just click on your project on the setting, and then it brings you back to your project board. Okay. And then what we want to do is we want to work on our boards now. Okay. So this green one here on your left panel that says board is where we want to go to. Okay. So I'll click on it so that you can see all the drops down, all the features that you have under that board. So this is the green board. So you have work items there. By default, when you click on boards, it takes you to the work item page, which you can see here. So whatever is highlighted here is what you're seeing over here. Okay. So where we want to go to is the boards, which is where we need to, the next configuration we need to work on. So by default, bear with me. This is what you're, okay. So what we've gone to do, we need to rearrange this one, okay? So what we've gone to do, okay. So normally by default, if you come here, all these columns you're seeing, you're not supposed to see them. These are the things that we're supposed to set up. All these columns you're seeing, we're not supposed to see them. You're just supposed to see, I think, new. You're supposed to see new, committed, and I think committed and closed. Those are the things you're supposed to see. But do you know why we're seeing all these different columns? Who can guess why we're seeing all these different columns? Anybody?
Yeah, we just created them.
No, we didn't.
There's no project yet.
There's no project yet, but there is a reason why. Okay, let me bail us out and tell us. Yeah. You know, when we created our project and we were on the Scrum process, we saw other 4 projects on it, isn't it? And we were the 5th one on it. Yes. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the people that owned those projects did their customization on the Scrum process. And that affected everybody that started by being on the Scrum process. Do you see why we need to create the inherited process now?
Okay.
Because they were there, they did some customization on the Scrum process itself. It affected every other project, you know, that now started running on the Scrum process. That was what happened. That's why you're seeing all the things you're seeing here now.
Which means the customization should have been on the inherited process.
That Scrum process already now. That's why we take you through this. And that's why I said, even in an organization where the whole thing is set up already and all that, you're a Scrum Master, you're working there, they'll still give you some permission because they know that you might need to customize 1 or 2 things for the team that you wouldn't need to be going to the IT or the platform team or whatsoever the name of the department that is doing that is called and all that. And you wouldn't want, you know, kind of to embarrass yourself and go and do things that you won't have a choice. You not go and meet them that, oh, sorry, I've made a mistake and everything. It looks bad on you. That's why you need to know these things. Yeah. Okay. But there is a way we can rectify things. It's not that as if we can't do anything. Okay, so normally if that has not been done and we come here and we want to add more, but like, you know, like I said, by default, what you have here initially is just the new, the committed, and the done, just 3 columns. And then all these we're supposed to have, but we're supposed to go and customize them, configure them ourselves. And how you do that is, if you again go to the right hand side here, you can see this cog, you know, this that looks like an engine. If you over it, you can see it says configure team settings. So if we click on that, it brings us here. It opens this little window up for us. And with this little window, you just come to this side of it where the settings are. And where we want to go to is the board column. Okay, this is where we want to go to. So if those have not been created, what you do is you click on column, and then you write the name of the column you want. So if we want NBA, we'll write it. But because they've been created already, I don't want us to kind of duplicate things. But normally that is what you do had it been we wanted. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this one that I've just clicked on. But that is just to show us how it is. Now we need to now arrange those columns the right way, because they've not been arranged the proper way, the way they are right now. And to arrange it the right way, the first one is new. Now, what new means is that is your backlog. It's like you have you're picking something from the shelf and now distributing. So the backlog is that is your list, your checklist, the list that owes all the things that you're going to work on. These are the requirements that we've received from the clients and everything of what we need to do. That is your backlog. Okay, that is where the list of everything you need to do, that is where it is. And that comes by default, and you can see it's grayed out. If I click on it now, even though it's showing you can see that the bug and the backlog item on it is grayed out. You can't change anything, you can't configure anything, because that is the first one. That comes the way it is. Why they've allowed you to change the name is some call it new, some call it backlog, depending on what a team wants to call it. But normally most teams leave it as new. Okay, that stays there. Now, after that backlog, the next person that starts to work in a team is the BA, and that's why we have the in BA column. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to move this. You can see we'll follow the arrow. We're just going to move it to the left so it comes before the approve. So the BA starts working in their column. They start putting all the information that needs to be there, the description of the requirements, the acceptance criteria, the wireframe. If they have to put attach some documents, some data in for content on the website, to put everything. That's them working. And once they finish doing whatever they are doing on that column, I'm going to move this also to the right. They put it in done. But let's go back to this one and let's put some updates in this one as we want it to be. Okay, so when a work item is here, we want to increase the work item, the limit, the work in progress limit. We want to increase it. The BAs will do more than 5. Okay, so we want to increase this to let me say, let's just put it at 10. And why we're increasing that, when we go on the board, I'll show you why we're doing this increase here. Okay, we're not splitting it into doing and done, because we have done. We have another column saying done, so we're not going to split it. Okay, the state mapping, we want to come here now. Your bug normally won't be in BA. BAs don't work on bug, so we're going to leave that as new, but they work on the product backlog item. So we're going to change this to in BA. That's what we want to see. Okay, so any work item or any product backlog item that is in the BA column, we want the state of it to be showing in BA. And we'll create one so that we can see that what we're setting is also what we're saying. Okay. You don't need to save and close and leave and come back. Just keep on doing what you need to do. Also, so we've set all that. Once your team have their definition of done, you've done your team charter, you have your definition of done, you can put it here also in this box. Okay, so we'll go to the next one, which is BA done. Again, just increase that because we'll be working more than that. We don't want to split to doing and done. Again, they don't work on bugs, so you can leave that. But you can see, because of the setting we've gone to do in project setting, to say that we want the state to be showing BA done, you can see it's picking it. The moment we go on it, it's picking it already. And then again, if you want to put your definition of done there, you can do that. So after the BA has finished working, the next column is the approved column, because they want the product owner to come and check the stories they've written to say, is this what you want? Is the wireframe the way you want it? She will review it and then she will sign off on it. So she's going to once she reviews it and everything is fine, she will review it as BA done. And once she's okay with it, she'll move it to approve. If she reviews it and she wants them to still work on it, she'll put comments in, or she can meet with them to tell them what she wants and all that. And that goes back to MBA, that we're still working on it. And once they finish, they move it back here again for her to review. And then if everything is fine, she'll put it in approved for them. Okay. All right, let's increase that also to 10. We're just going to increase everything to 10, and then I'll show you why we're doing that. We're not splitting again into, and you can see that both bug and the product backlog item is now showing approved. Okay, so that's fine. And then, oh, sorry, we go to the next one, which is committed, because after approved is when we now meet, have our sprint planning, and then we're committing to what's needed to be done. Okay, so over here also I'm going to increase this to 10. We're not splitting it. And then you can see that also is committed because of the setting that we've gone ahead to do. If it's not changing, we're at liberty to, it would allow us to change it anyway. So in dev, also the same thing. The developer is putting it in his own column and working on it. Now you can see that the in-dev one didn't change, so you have to change it. So this is where our bug, when the developer is working on our bug, we want it to be active, to show active. Okay. And then when the developer is working on the product backlog item, it shows, the state shows in dev. So we go to the dev done column. Let's increase this. We don't need to work up 10, but let's just increase it to that. And then you can see that the product backlog item has gone to dev done already, has changed to dev done. But for the bug, okay, we want to still, it's still going to be active. And I'll tell you why when we get on the board. Is it going to be active? And then go to the next one, which is in QA. The QA is the one that picks up either the bug or the product backlog to work on. So when the QA picks it, it's still active for the bug. And then you can see the state of the product backlog is in QA. Now, when we get to QA done, the QA has retested the bug. So the developer has worked on the bug, has resolved what the issue is, the defect is. The QA has retested it. Oh, everything is now working fine. Will now pick resolved. So what the QA is saying is, oh, that defect has been resolved now. But that is if it's the bug work item. But if it's the product backlog, it's in QA done. And then normally from there, the QA, once it's resolved, can just take the bug all the way to close or completed. Yeah. Because there's no UAT done on a bug. The user acceptance test is done on the product backlog item. Okay, but let's assume that that bug somehow finds its way into the UAT. Yeah, it's still going to be resolved until it gets to the last bit where it closes. And then the product backlog item is UAT there. Okay. And like I said, because the other people that work on the main has tampered with this, we're just going to remove all those ones. We're going to remove. So what happened? The first one I removed was active and resolved. What happened was they wanted columns for resolved work and all that to suit their team. And that was why they created that. But you can see that seeping into other people's project board because it was done on the wrong process. So please, let's not do the same mistake that other people have done. So after UAT, what you have is the done column. And on the done column, everything is grayed out, just like the new, because the done column is saying, oh, we've completed what we needed to do. We've met our definition of done. So you can see that that is closing it up. Some change their done to completed. Some put close for it and all that. But whatever you put has met that definition of done. And that's why you can see that is grayed out. So that's how you configure your project board to include more columns so that it suits your team. You're able to see transparency. Oh, this is the state that this story is in now. We know who to call on to and things like that. Okay. So another thing we want to do before we close this window is which is the next process. So maybe before I do that, I can quickly check if there is any question quickly before I go into adding more fields to the work item. Any question on the board creation and all that? And now you understand why also we had to, got so good that happened anyway, because then that gives you now an insight to why we needed to create the inherited process and the things we need to do now to tidy up our own board because of the mistakes of other people. Okay, good. So quickly, let's also just come to, so once you finish with the board here, and the columns here, the next one you want to do is the field. So you don't need to do anything to every other thing apart from what you need. If your team needs other things, but then you can now look into, oh, do we change the color? We want to change the color of our tags and all that, but I'm not going to go into that. You can see that test also has its own parts there that you can configure and all that, but we're not going to go into that. What we're going into is the card, and we're going to look into the field. So there are some field, again, we're going to create work item for each, for bug, task, and product backlog item so that you can see all those things we're doing. You can see how it will come out. We want to add more fields into our product backlog item. You can see that's the first one that is highlighted here. We want to add more field. We want to put more field into it and all that. And that is why we've come here to do that. Okay, so again, the first thing that we need to do in order to create more fields there is highlighted here. You can see anytime you see the plus sign and the field, that means you can create. So by default, your work item, if it is created, by default, it has the opportunity to show you. Let me just scroll up. Okay, it will show you the ID. It's able to show you the ID. Is able to show you who it is assigned to, and that comes in the form of an avatar and the full name of the person, which we would create, and then you will see. Is able to show you the efforts. That's where your story point goes into. Is able to show you the tags. Excuse me. And then also it's going to show you the states. Those are the ones that come by default, but we want to add more fields, into our work item. So if I click on field over here, just click on field to create a new field over there. And then let's just create a bit more so that we don't keep scrolling up and down. I'm just going to click about 4 now, thereabout. Okay, so let's look at this one. So you can pick from the drop down the fields that you want to add. You can pick them up from your drop down in order to add them in. And then we want to look at, we don't need activated by, and you don't need to add everything. Okay, So we want our area path to be showing on our work item. Okay. Another thing that we want is the butt column also. Do we want to see the butt column also? Yes, we want to see the butt column. So we're going to pick that. And then just go down. We have two more. We'll go back and add more field. Okay. So let's just scroll through to see what else do we want to see there. All this change date, close by, we don't want all those. Okay, so we want to see created by. Who is the BA that created this product backlog item? And like I said, that's because in the internship you have more than one BA, yeah, in your team. But in the workforce out there, it's just one BA to a team. Okay, so please don't go to interviews and say the BAs in my team are. So it's just one BA, but because this is an internship, we don't have that much project to put one BA in. Okay, so let's go. Let's see. Another thing we want is we want our iteration path to show, and that's just showing us the sprints that we're in, showing on our work item. So I'm just going to click about. Oh, bear with me. I don't want to. That was what I was trying to create as much as possible so that we don't keep scrolling up and down to click on them. So at least I have 3 more now. Okay, so scrolling through this, we stopped at iteration. If you want to see the parent, you want to see the feature that is attached to, you can pick that, but it's not important. Another thing we want to pick is priority. Want to know what priority the story is. I don't think priority is at the top already. Okay, so we've picked priority. Let's see what else can we pick. We stopped at priority, isn't it? We said we're not really bothered about the state is there by default, so we don't need to pick that. You can decide to pick what work item type that you're working with if you so choose. You can pick that. Some pick value area and all that. So let's just close the last one. Now there is one important thing that you want to pick here. So this little checkbox is saying that you should activate it even if those fields are empty. You still want them to display. Okay, so that's why we're checking this one, or else if you don't check this one, activate it, once you start working, if any of those fields are not populated with details and all that, they won't show. Okay, so we're going to click on this because we want that to happen. And then we've done for the product backlog item. We also want to do for our bugs. What are the things we want to see in the work item for our bugs? Okay, without me opening it up, what are the information I want to see while looking at it on the board, which we would have a look at soon. Okay, so what we want to do again over here is just click on as much as you can, just for us to have a bit of it before, so that we don't keep scrolling up and down. And then anyone that we don't want, we can as well just kind of remove. Okay, so it might be a bit similar to the product backlog, but I'll show you where the difference are when it comes to bugs. So again, area path, you might pick it. We want to pick you might want to pick closed by. If you want to know the date that it was closed, you might. If you want to see the person that created the bug, also you can put that in. Again, let's just put the iteration. For the bug, we want to see the severity rather than the priority. So we don't want to know if it's priority 1 or so, but we want to see the severity. We want to know the severity. Is it critical? Is it low? Is it medium? So we're picking that. And then let's pick the iteration path, and then we can pick the parent for this one. And I think the last one, we just use that last one to do the type. I don't think we've picked the type yet. Okay, so those are the tools that we're going to do over there. And now we can save and close. Once we finish the board columns and the card field, we can close. You can save and close. So you can see that all the other things that we've removed are not there any longer. So we've cleaned up our board the way it should be. Okay, that's done. And then quickly, just to show you the things that we've just done, if I click on new item here, you see it's showing me backlog item or bug. So it will create one for each, and then we'll take them through to see what it will show you. So I'm going to call this one number 1. I'm going to click out. Now, all those fields that we added, those are the things you're seeing. Yeah, those are all those fields. Remember, the state was there by default. Area path, we were the one that added it to the field. But column, were the one that added it. Created by, we added it, and you can see my name because I was the one that created this item. So by the time the BAs create their story, to be putting the name of the person that created it there. Iteration, even though we've not put it in any iteration, but because we did that check to that little box at the bottom to say that even if it is empty, show the field. And that is why you're seeing it there. The priority is 2 by default. If it's higher than that, you make it priority 1. If it's lower than that, able to do it. You do that together as a team. And then the work item type, you can see it is saying it's a product backlog item. Now, if I want to assign this to one of the people that are on my team, if I click on that, it's giving me the name of the people that are on my team. So if the person, if I'm the BA that created this, but I'm not the one that want to work on it, I want, let me see. I want Tommy to be the one to work on this particular story. I change it to be Tommy's name. So I'm still the one that created it. That won't change, but it has been assigned to Tommy to write the story for this, and these are the things you're able to do. So I can put Tommy's name here without going in. I'm going to delete that and show you another way. Okay, put Tommy's name in. If I go into the story itself, I don't want Tommy to work on this anymore. What I do is I remove Tommy's name and then I save and close. You can see that Tommy's name is not there any longer. But if she's the BA and she's the one that we want to work on this, these are the people that have been added to my team and other people that are on the organization. Yeah, so all I do is if I start typing her name, it will bring me the name that I want to put in there. I click on it, and that has been assigned to Tommy to work on. Okay, so quickly, I'll just take that across, and then you will see the states that we did during the project settings. So once it's here, you can see the state is new and it's gray. The color on it when it was here was gray. If it goes into BA, that changes into InB. Those are the settings we did when we went on project settings and we went to the state on our process, and it's still gray. BA done. You can see automatically it changes. Approved. You can see it changes. I'm just going to quickly take that across. Once it gets into committed, it's turned to blue now because it's in progress. The category is in progress now and it's in committed. And then when it goes to in-dev, so when it's in committed, it's there. Once it goes to in-dev, it can't be Tommy's name anymore because Tommy is not the developer working on it. Yeah, Tosin is the developer working on it. Tosin changes that into his name, does what he needs to do, take it into dev done. You can see the state changing as we're going. And then Tosin finished working on that. It moves into the QA, picks it up to test. Tosin is no longer the QA. The QA now is Rita. So Rita changes that to her name so that we know who is working on it, because Rita won't be the only QA. That's why you need to assign any story you're working on to yourself, so that when we need info, when we need have any query that we need and all that, we know who is working on it and who to reach out to. But the person that creates the work item does not change throughout. Yeah. And then also we're able to move that. Once you finish working on it, it goes into there. Okay. And then once that is done also, once the BA picks it to do UAT on it, it moves that there. So if Tommy is the one doing the UAT, Tommy changes this back to our name. if Uzo as the product owner is the one doing the UAT, Uzo posts her name. So let's assume Uzo decides to do the UAT on this one. So it goes into Uzo's name and she's working on it. And then the moment that finishes and it gets to John, yeah, we can unassign this because at dawn, nobody's working on it. Or you can leave Uzo's name as the PO on it. But most teams just remove the name on it because at that point, everything is done. What they need to do has been completed, so they don't need to, or you can leave the name on it. It really doesn't matter. It's optional depending on each team, what they want to do. Because at dawn, you're not calling on anybody. And that's why I'll tell you, I'm going to open this up. If you need information about who worked on it, even though that's now gotten to done, I need information on who did what. That was why we added all this layout. So we know that Tommy is the one, is the BA that worked on it. We know that Tosin is the developer that worked on it. We know that Rita is the BA that worked on it. Let's assume that Olawumi is the DA, also who did one or the other on this particular story. So if we need information, if they are gotten to done and there is any thing we need to do and we want to know who was the Kiwi that worked on it, who was the that worked on it, that was why we created all this layout so that we'll be able to have that information. That record is kept on this particular story. Yeah. So those are the things that we've done, and then we can leave that there. Okay, so that is the journey of your user story from creation up till when that has been done. Okay, so we're going to see the life cycle also of a bug. We're going to create a bug. I'm going to call this defect 1. Okay. Again, those are the fields that we have in it. Again, created by, because I'm the one that created it. And remember, your bugs won't be created from here. Remember, we've attached that it will be created with the user story. So if I click on that, you can add your test case to your story, but those don't let me go through that. That is not part of the learning for today, but we're just looking at the work item. Once you create it, the fields that are meant to be there, you can see that it's new here. Normally it's not meant to go through here, but what we've customized is what I want to show us when it comes to here. You can see the severity by default is 3, which says it's medium. Okay, and then you can also assign it. So I can assign this to Tosin to say, oh, Tosin is the one that developed this, so Tosin is the one that is working on this bug. So this bug doesn't need to go through BA because BA don't do anything on it. It comes to approve, however, because we can approve to say that, oh, we want to work on some bugs and all that. So it comes here, and then from there it goes into committed. Okay, you can see committed, it's blue. And then when it goes to in-dev, what we've customized it to do is to show active, and we set the color to red. And that's what we're seeing here. Yeah. And then Tosin worked on it. And then once Tosin finished what he's doing on it, he puts it in dev done. Okay, so Rita is going to pick it to say, oh, Tosin has finished working on it. So Rita is going to put her name in now. She's the one working on it. It's still active because she's just testing it. And once she finished testing it and she moves it to QA done, that changes to result, and you can see the color is changed to green. Now she can actually take it from here to done, because the BA, like I said, or the PO are not going to do, they're not going to do UAT tests. You do UAT test to the product backlog item because that is where the acceptance criteria is. It is not inside the bug. So once she's resolved to know that, oh, the defect has been solved and all that, Rita can actually pick it from here and take it down there. Okay. But let's assume that she finishes, is kind of so busy, she forgot to take it there and all that, but she leaves it in the QA done. you're the Scrum Master, you're monitoring the board, and you notice this. You look at the name. You just give Rita a shout out. You can send a chat to her. Oh, Rita, I noticed this bug. You can copy the link. Okay, I think you need to open it to copy the link or be on the backlog. So you can just copy the link and say, oh, I noticed this. Copy the link from. Let me go in the backlog. View as backlog. So one is viewing it as a body, the other one is just viewing it as a backlog. Okay, so you can see it's resolved. And then, oh wow, where is the copy the link? No. Okay, let's go ahead. So you can as well just check with her. You can use the ID to check with her also to say, oh, I noticed the bug 9648 is resolved and is sitting in QA done. Are you still doing anything? Oh, I'm not doing anything. I just forgot to move it to done. You can move it to done for her as a Scrum Master, because you can see that it says the state is it has been resolved. It's no longer active. What needed to be done is done. And that is why we've made sure that the resolved state is at QA done, not at dev done or not at in QA, because she's still testing it until she has moved it to in QA done, and we can set the result. We know that from there it can actually just go to the done column for that particular bug. So that's how the things we've customized things, those are the things that we're seeing on them. Okay, so quickly, any questions on those before we go to, I think we have just kind of 3 more process to see tonight. Quickly, Miracle, you have your hands up.
Yeah, just a quick one.
Yes.
Can you assign to more than one person?
Assign one work item to more than one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so for a work item, you can have more than one person working on a work item. Let me move this back and then I'll show you how we can do that. So let's assume that this particular work item, I put it in dev done. Let me put it in QA. Yeah, it could be the developer, it could be the QA and all that. And we assigned this to Rita to work on. Rita is working on this one, this particular story. And it's so big that we want to finish on time, and we want another QA also to pick up another aspect. So maybe Rita is doing the manual and there's so many fields that she needs to test and validate and all that, but for the parts that she had done, we want another QA to pick this and to work on how do we see that person also on this one. So what you can do is, if you open it up, you have add tag here. Okay, so I can tag somebody else onto this. I can tag Adetunji if Adetunji is another QA, yeah, onto this. And Adetunji will create his own task against the story, which I'll show you how we do that now. Okay, so you can tag that person's name here. Okay, and then we'll save and close, and you'll see where that shows. You can see it showing at the bottom here. So I know now that it's not just Rita alone that is the QA working on the story, Adetunji also. And you know who your team member is. You know who Adetunji is in your team. So as a Scrum Master or any member of the team will know that it's not just Rita working on this, Adetunji is working on this. You can have that scenario. You can also have a scenario whereby Rita started working on it. She had an emergency. She can't finish the sprint and won't be able to finish the story. We don't want to move it to the next sprint. We want who has capacity. Adetunji says, oh, I have capacity. I can work on it and everything and all that. Okay, so we can actually then assign this to Adetunji and tag Rita onto it also to know that, okay, Rita started working on it first, and then Adetunji, we had to reassign it to Adetunji because he had to finish up because maybe Rita has an emergency and she's not around. Now, what you would have is they will have their task on it. So I've added task to this now. So I can say this is S1. Going to add another one. Then I'll call that one S2. 2. Okay. So these are alt tasks. So for the first one, if I open it up, Rita is the one working on the first one. I'm going to put Rita's name there. Okay. And then over here, look at the hours planned and the actual hours work that we've written. So when Rita created this story, she's looking at it and said, it's going to take me, it's manual test. It's going to take me 2 hours to do it. I'm just going to put 2 here also. Okay. And then we save and close that. And then for the second one, I'm going to put this 20 here. I'm going to add 20 there. Now, why is showing up to say the value added 20 is an unknown identity? Who can tell me that? Why is showing added 20 is giving us this warning? Anyone? Why is it giving us this warning to say at least this should give you an indication. It said it's an unknown identity. Because Adetunji is not a member of that team. We didn't add anybody called Adetunji onto our team. That was why. Yeah. But if I pick Lady Pat, you will see that it is not bringing that up because Lady Pat is a member of our team. So anybody you don't add onto your board, you can see that this is so advanced that it would quickly pick that up and tell you that that person is not known on this project because you've not added that person. That person is not part of your team. Yeah. Okay, so we can do this also, and then hours, because Lady Party is doing automation on it, so it's going to take her 4 hours to do automation. We're just going to put that there, and then we're going to close that. And this is one way to put your task on, but normally also you can put it on the sprint, but because there is no sprint yet, okay, that was why I created that to be on the story themselves rather than being on the sprint. You can see we've not put anything in the sprint. We've not set this date, but if we set the date for this sprint, let's set it from today. Today is the 17th, and then it's ending on, let's just give it 1 week. Okay, we save and close. We've set our sprint, and then what we can do is go back to our main board. Okay, and then let me take all these stories back to committed. Or I can leave it in there. Doesn't really matter. So it's just so that now that we've set our sprint, I can actually put this in sprint 1. And same goes for this one also. So if we bring it back here, did we put, I don't think we put sprint when we were creating to be part of the field for this one. Oh, we did. So we can put that also in sprint 1. Now, if we go on our sprint now, we should be able to see the 2 of them on the sprint board. Yeah, you can see. So let me refresh, and those tasks normally should life update and how to go. Sorry. Okay, it's because they are not in sprint. So I'm going to open them up and just put those tasks also in sprint. Yeah, so these are the 2 tasks. They are not showing on the sprint because they've not been put in the sprint. So if I come here, click here, I can put them on. You can see that sprint 1 has a date now. So I just click sprint 1, I save and close. If we go back to the board, let me do that to the second one also. And then now we're able to see them on the board. Sprint 1, save and close. And then I close the story itself. And then you can see, just refresh for the second one to show. Yes, you can see the 2 of them in the sprint. Okay. And again, when we were doing the one for the field, we didn't do the field for this because the tool that we can do the field for are these ones. They are the ones on the main board. These ones are showing on the sprint board. Okay, so you can create your task that way, and then you can actually come here also to create your task. So if I do fix one for this one above, but that's what you do for above fix one, and Tosin is going to be the one to fix that. So we just put Tosin's name there, and then Rita is going to retest it. So put retest there. Those are the tasks that are going to be carried out to that bug, and then we just put Rita's name there. Okay, and then we can, because Tosin is the one working on this one, we can just put Tosin back there. And this, your sprint is just showing you the activity going on during the sprint. Meanwhile, your main board is where you do your sprint planning, like you saw us do during the workshop that we did. So those are the things we've configured and customized on our project board, and those are the demo. That's the best way I can put it, just to show you the things we did and what it means when it comes to the work items themselves. So those are the things. Quickly, any question before we go to the next one, please? Don't get scared, don't worry. I was much quieter than you when I had my own. I wasn't even asking any question at all. All right, Emmanuel, you have your hands up.
Yeah, thank you. Just a quick one. The area path, what is the importance of the area path in a project? That's
Okay,
one.
so yeah,
Then
all right, let me open it up and show you. The area path is your project path. So you have different projects boards on an organization. The area path shows that this area is for the project, is for this particular project. So another area path, if I click on this drop down now, yeah, because this is our project board, it's just going to show our area path. If it's a project that has more than one team and they are all using the same project board, but they have their own team board on it, you will have all of them on this area path. You will have this name / the team, and then you will have this place / another team. So the area path shows you the team's path to say this is the team. That is, it's like having different. Let's assume that now that the best example I can use is when we're in school, primary or secondary school, and then everybody is lining up. So the people going to SS1A, they will line up together. Everybody will be at the back of the first person. SS1B. So that is the area path. Every team, has their own area path. And then the bottom one is the one showing you the iteration we're in the sprint. Yeah. So you can see it's showing us the area path / the sprint we're in. Hope that's clear.
Yeah, sorry, that's cool. Okay. Thank you. And then the second question.
Yes.
Yeah, the second question is maybe for auditing purpose or something. If the stakeholder just wanted to have a look of maybe have a track of who has been working on the board, maybe from in dev and dev on maybe perhaps the ticket is already on maybe UAT or done. How would it take track of the BA that started, the developer that picked it, and then the QA that picked it for track record purpose? Is there any way they can check down the ticket, please?
Okay, so the first answer to that is, as a Scrum Master, I know you collaborate with your stakeholders, but your stakeholders shouldn't even be coming on your project board, because they might not understand the dynamics of the team. So you deliver products to them, but they coming on your project board to do what? To track what you're doing. You provide that to them with the metrics. They don't need to come on the board because what happens when they come on your board is they ask questions based on what they don't understand. Mine is to, depending on the stakeholder, let me put it that way, because it's not just the customer that is your stakeholder alone. So if you're looking at a situation where is it the let's say the line manager for the keyways want to see what they've done and everything and all that, yeah, you can filter to get what people are working on if that's what they want to do. So you have a filter on your board that you can use to filter. You can use that to get assigned to. I want to see everything that is assigned to Rita. Yeah, and then you can see to bring that up for you. I want to see everything that is assigned to Tosin, and then it will bring that up to you. I want to see the work item types that is assigned to Tosin. I want to see, was there any bulk that product backlog item assigned to Tosin? You can see that there's nothing for Tosin, but this body, we're just using those two work items. So you can use filter also to do that. But like I said, I don't believe in getting stakeholders to come on the board, but it depends on why they're coming on the board. Let me put it that way. But you can use filter anyway that you have on the board to be able to pick who has worked on. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that, because this in this project there's no Scrum Master, so the stakeholders as well are the BAs writing the stories. So they just want to like, have the that feel like, okay, who actually worked on this? Like, which developer worked on this ticket? Obviously, they are now seeing it in maybe Done or UAT, but they just want to see which developer had worked on it. Or maybe also the IT manager just want to have a track of who has
Have
been.
a look here.
Just
You
a
can use the
question.
filter
They
to
want
do
to
that.
say like, okay.
They can use the filter to do that either on here or even in the sprints. The filter is there at the top, and then you can just click on that. And if you don't want to use it anymore, just click out here, and that takes it away.
And then it will show the track of the keyword that worked on it, the developer that worked on it, and everyone who is.
You can only pick for each person. So if you're looking at a particular story, I don't think you'll be, except if you open it up, because we've had that layout there. Yeah, you can pick that here to say, oh, so this is, if you're looking at how many stories has Tommy worked on, or how many stories has Tosin worked on and all that. Number one, you can use the filter. Number two, you can also create a widget on your dashboard that is able to track that. If you want to look at how many stories has everybody worked on during the sprint and all that, you can use, there is a widget on the dashboard that you can create to track that.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so quickly, that would lead us to how do we create and add widgets to our dashboard. Earlier on we did a setting for our dashboard, so we're just going to go on the dashboard now to create some widgets there. Okay, and for us to access our dashboard, if you come again to the left panel that you have here, and then we're going to overview. But before I leave there, for the board that we have here, you can see that we're able to create a board. There is a work item page where every work item you create shows. So everything we've been creating since, they are all called work items, and you can see them here. Okay, and then you can see the people that we've assigned to, the state of them, their area path. If I just scroll to the right, gives you, did we tag anyone? That was the one we tagged. Activity date, you can see it gives you the date and the time also. So this also keeps the record of every single work item that has been created on this board. You can see everything is being tracked under the work item also. And then you have your backlogs. Your backlog is just the one. Okay, so I can use the backlog to explain what we did with the epic and all that. Okay, so these stories that we've created, we didn't create any epics. We created them from the board. If the BAs are going to start creating, they start creating from the epic. This is the navigation. So the big one, the big chunk of work that needs to be done is the epic. And then after the epic is the feature, and after the feature is the backlog. Let me just quickly use an example. I'm traveling will be the epic, is a big one. We need to break it down. What are the things I need to do for my traveling? I need to sort out transportation will be a feature. I need to buy things I'm taking on the journey will be another feature. So you can have different features there. And then under the transportation, you're looking at what are the things you need to do. I need to buy the ticket. I need to look at the dates that I'm going. Those ones will be the stories that are going to come here. So for the stories that says I need to buy the ticket and all that, the activity that will be tied to it will now be you going on the website to look for, compare flight tickets and things like that. I'm just using that to give us an example of how you break down from the big chunk of what needed to be achieved at the end. So traveling is a project. So what do we need to achieve at the end? What are we looking at? I need to travel. What are how can we break these big chunks to also big but still smaller than this big one at the features? And then you have the stories. The stories is where you have the requirements. What is the expected end of that particular requirement? And then you have the tax under it, which is the specific things you need to do under that story to achieve those requirements. So those are your work item, the navigation for your backlog items. And we have them there. So normally the BAs would, okay, so this is the BA thing, and I think their mentors would train and teach you here. So don't let me go into what you need to do. Mine is just to show you where you need to go to start what you need to create. Yes, so it will be you coming here to create new work item for your epic. Okay, so I'm just going to use the example I've used. So this will be travel. Okay, and then you add that there, so you can see that's created. If you need to create the feature that needs to come out of this, you come onto the plus sign that you have on the left here. If I click on that, the feature will come up, and then I can just put transportation there. Just put transport there. And what you see is, you can see it's falling under the epic called travel. To create your product backlog item, if you click on that and you pick product backlog item, I can do, all right, flight ticket here. Okay, you save that. You can see that coming now under the epic. So that's how you create your work item. And what you're doing is you're linking them. So this travel becomes the parent of transport. Transport becomes the parent of flight tickets and all that. And so you're linking everything together. If I open this flight ticket up and I scroll here, you can see the parent for it is the transport. If I click on transport now, to open transport, you can see the parent for the transport is the travel, which is the epic. That's how you link your work item. And that's just a tip for the BAs, but your mentors will take you through. And once you're being trained also, you will be told what to do. And I think a workshop will be done for you on that. So quickly, let's go to the dashboard. Okay, so you can see that we've not created our dashboard. So we have the dashboard name, because when we were doing the setup, the default setup and everything, we did activate that. So you can see that we want to add widget to it. So if I click on add widget, yeah, this is the place where you pick the widget from. So we want to have a burn down chart on our dashboard. You won't see anything for now, but this is just to show you how you create it. So once you click on it, it highlights in blue, and then you add. You have to click the add for it to go on your board. Okay. So if you want to have the burn up also, if you click on it, highlight in blue, you add it onto it. And then if you want to see your what else? I'm looking for the that's another one, another burn down chart. If you want to see your team members, you put that there. Your sprint goal, you put that there. So these are just metrics. Again, you'll be taught on this so that you know what these are. Your velocity, you add that there. And then I think earlier on I was talking about being able to track what your team members are doing. You're able to track that also using the query tab. So you have to create your query first and then now transfer it onto your dashboard to be able to see that. Okay, so if I do done editing for this one, you won't see anything. I won't even talk about this one now. So the mentors will be able to tell you this. So for the purpose of this training this night is just so you know how to create your metrics. How to configure it is another thing because we're not in sprint yet. You can see that it's taking me to, because we've set the sprint to be, okay, so I should be able to actually configure this. Let's configure this because we've set a sprint for 1 week for this one, so we should be able to see it. So this is a burn down. So I'm just going to put the title as sprint 1 burn down. Okay, I can reduce it if I feel it's too big, so that I don't waste on my dashboard doing that. Okay, and the backlog is what we want to pick. So the work item type we want to track here is the product backlog item. So we're going to pick that. That is what we want to track. Okay, and then I'm going to set the criteria so that I can change the date on that. So I'm going to pick the iteration path here. Okay, and then I'll pick sprint 1 over here. And you can see that it's still showing that. So the date is what I need to configure. Okay, so you can see time period here, start date, starting when we did when we're setting the, so I'm going to pick 17. And then the completed date, we said we just did it for 1 week. And then you can see that. So it's showing show completed work. I want it to show completed work when work is done. And then is in the color already. So I can just do save on this one. That is the sprint burn down configured. You can see 17 is today, and it's showing that it's just one. You remember it's just one product backlog item we have. It's showing just one there. If I want to configure it to be the bug also, if it's the bug that I want to track with that chart, I'll change this product backlog item to bug. That's the where we have bug, because we have a bug also. I'll click on bug. Yeah, the same information for all the others. And I want it to show the color plot using the color. The color for bugs are red. Okay, so you can see, and then I can save that also. So once you add your widget by clicking edit, to add any widget onto this board, you click edit, and that is what brings up all the widgets you need to put here. And then once you highlight on any one of them and do add, it adds it onto it. And once you're done doing that, you just click done editing, and then you have your charts over there. Again, for all the other ones, the same way I configured. And you can see the widget we have for team members. You can see the initial for all the team members. You can see it there. Those are all my team members. You can see all their initials there. If you want to add any of, you have a new team member and you want to add it also, you can click on there, and then it gives you this. Once you put the members there and you put add, it has them also to here. Okay, so, and then that's for the sprint goal. So if we had put anything on our sprint goal on our board, it will show here. So right now it's saying no goal set. So if we go back onto the sprint board and just put a goal there. Okay, so for us to see the goal, you can see it has goal up here. So if we click on that, it brings up the page, and then we can just put training as our goal for this sprint. You put this on, but you want it to show, and then you save it. Let's go back on our dashboard now and see what we have for the widget for the goal. System with it. So can see also that the velocity, because we picked on it, you can see the widget for the sprint goal is saying training. Okay, so you can see all that also on your dashboard, and that's the teams, that's the velocity. Yeah, it's showing 2 that we planned 2 because we have 2 work items on the board. Yeah, and then we've not completed anything. So your light blue is planned, and then your dark blue is incomplete because we've not completed anything. Okay, so those are some of the things you can have on your dashboard, but more of that would be taken through you. This is just to show you how you add widgets on your board and how you can configure them depending on the kind of widget you have on your board. So quickly, also, we just want to see the wiki. The wiki is where you keep information for your team. It's like a library. The wiki is like a library for your team members. Okay, and also you can create that as where you share information with your team regarding the project. You can put information about the project mandate, vision, the team members, and all that, and we can create that here. So to do that, you can see also that that is not created. So to do that, we just click on Create Project Wiki. Okay, and then you give it a title. So this could be we'll just call it 2024 a project team. Okay, and then you put information here. So if what you want to put there is the project mandate, so this part of it, you can see 2 sides. This part of it forms your backend, kind of, where you put all the information, and then this forms kind of your front end where it shows everything that you're putting there. Okay, so if I just put here project mandate, you can see it's going on the other end also, and then you type in your project mandate, blah, 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 whatever your project mandate is, you put it there, and everything. If you want to do your project vision also, you can go project mission or vision. Your project vision, and you type whatever your project vision is and all that. And once you've done that, you're able to save it. So once you save it, you won't see the back side of it, this back side of it again. What we'll be seeing is the front one. So if I close it, you can see that we've set up our wiki, and we've named the home one project, the project team, and you have all the information there. If you want to create a new page, you can have a new page or have a sub page. So if I choose to add a sub page to this could be for we could have this as the team roles, team members roles, and I'm not saying this is what you do. I'm just trying to give us, so we can have SM and say G SM. We can have also, okay, let me put the view as the first one there. We can have user as the PO. We can have allow me as ADM, and the emoji as the Scrum Master, and have show me as the PA. So this is just giving information. So anybody that comes to your wiki is able to get the information. Your team charter also, you put it on your wiki, your definition of done, your development process, information about your project, about your team members, and what you have on your wiki. And like I said, okay, let me save and close this one, and then you can see how the sub page comes underneath what we're doing. So that's a sub page. If you want to create a new page which stands on its own, you can do that. We can have kind of a BA repository, which is where all the BAs put everything that has to do with their work, all their artifacts. They're able to put it there, their wireframes and all that. You save that and you close it, and you can see that we have the BA's repository. So you can either create it from here or you can create it from new page. But the main heading will be that, and then you can close it up. So anyone coming here will just see this, and if they need to see any pages that are underneath, sub pages that are underneath, that all they need to do is to click on that, and it gives them the drop down of everything that is underneath it. So that is your wiki page. That's how you create your wiki page and add pages onto it. Again, the Scrum Master mainly is the one that will have permission to do this. You join as if the BA needs to put anything in and all that, they're able to either reach out to the Scrum Master, send things to her, reach out to her to put, or be able to put it themselves also. Okay, so that's the wiki. And quickly, the last one really for us is just for me to show you the retrospective board. The estimation, I think, is there also, how you create your retrospective board. We won't go into the estimation one because again, we don't have much on the board to do that. So the mentors will show you how to do that. So to create your retrospective, again, you can see create board here. You click on that. You're able to put in the title. So if this retrospective is for sprint 1, you can just go sprint 1 retro. You can just go retro. You can go the full name. You can do retro. The number of votes that you want your team members to have, you can just leave that there. We want the team to be able to, we want to include the team assessment. We want to display the retrospective prime directive. Those comes by default. And then we do not want to display names in the feedback. So anybody puts their comments on, we don't want to see their names. That's what you're saying with that. We want to keep to that. And then you have different templates that you can work with, different formats. You can do the what went well, what didn't go well. You can do drop, add, keep, improve. You have different templates that Azure has provided for you there that you can use and all that. But if you want to use the one that comes by default, that's fine. You can add more columns. You can see you can add more columns. You can put name there, whatever name you want these particular columns to be. You're able to change, put that in there also. So let's say this is, you want to call this improve. You can put that there. You can add another one by clicking the plus, but I think you're allowed, you can see maximum of 5 columns in the retrospective. So you can add more columns there. I'm just going to delete this for now. And then you can change all these icons. You see, if we don't want the green color, you can pick another color. You can pick another color to be there. If we don't want the smiley face, we can pick another thing. What do you want? Is it for what went well? We want to use a cake. What didn't go well? You want to pick red. You want to pick a sad face. Improve. You want to pick another color. You want to pick like a discussion. Let's talk about improve and all that, and then you save it. Yes, and just that, those are the 3 columns that we've just created now, and that's how you create your retro. So that's for sprint 1. If you want to create the second sprint that you want to create sprint 2, you just come here, create new retrospective, and it gives you the same pop-up. You're able to load it and everything, and that's how you save it. If you want to share the link to your retrospective with your team, I wouldn't. Some team does it, some team allow their members to get used to the use of the board. So it's better to let them get used to the use of the board rather than, if you keep creating and sending links to them, you're making them lazy. Then all they need is, they'll just be asking, where's the retrospective link, rather than them going on the board and getting to where the board is themselves in order to populate comments. So we want to do it to populate comments, what went well, you populate on this one, you click on the plus, and then you go to populate, and then once you click out, that's done. And another person wants to just click on the plus, and then you're able to just add information on that. So that is your retro board, how you create it, how your team members, you coach your team members, because that's your job as a Scrum Master, on how to use the board. How do I add my comments on the board? You show them how to do it. So that is where we will stop tonight. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to stay on the board for questions in case I need to go back to any page to clarify and to answer some questions. But that's where we're going to wrap it up tonight regarding your Azure DevOps setup. Now, for Scrum Masters, again, don't get overwhelmed with this. We're going to do a lot of workshops. We're going to tell you to create yours during the course of the few days coming. There will be workshops. Your mentors will work with you. They want to see what you've done on your board. They want to see what you've done wrong. You're able to call them. I don't understand how we get here. I've listened or I've watched the video again. I still don't understand this and all that. There will be workshops concerning your Azure DevOps board creation. But one of the things we want to do also early next week, because I know this is Friday, is also to meet with you and tell you how the permission you need to use, which definitely we won't do with the whole intent. It will just be more of Scrum Master focused. Okay, so I don't want you to get overwhelmed. I didn't get this the first time I had it. And another advice that I would want to give to Scrum Masters is Azure DevOps has a free version which you can personally download. Please don't do your free testing with Blue Sky organization. Yeah, do it with your own free version. So go on Azure DevOps, Google Azure DevOps and all that. You will see their free version. You're able to set up your own organization on that free version. You can call it your name. Make it your diary. You can put your name on it. If you're a student, put your name on it. You put your your study on it and everything. Create your own organization. Try and use that to create. How do somebody create a project? How do I add a story and everything? You can use all those stories to do what you want to do. This Saturday, I want to, go running and everything. Create an epic Saturday activity, feature, go running, do this, and then how you do this. Just to familiarize yourself with things. So you can have your own personal one to use to do all that. Okay, so because we don't want you to feel, and then you're watching the video, you're using your personal one to say, oh, okay, so this is how it's done. Oh, okay, so this is how it's done. Because with your own personal one, you're creating your organization, you have permission to do everything on it. Everything on it. Even the BAs, if you want to practice, how did Moji do the navigation with the epic, the feature, the story, you want to watch the video, know how to create stories and everything ahead of you being trained and all that. You can create your own organization to do that. Keyways also, how do I pick test plan and everything, which you will be taught. So don't rush things, please. The personal one really is mainly for now for the Scrum Master, so that they know how to set up a project board, how to do all those configurations and all that. They can do that. Okay, so any questions? Oh, I love this now. There's no question.
Born out of
all right, I'm gonna stop sharing then. Can I stop sharing if there's no question? Yeah, okay. All right, thank